This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Synchronize the steps if you want. Is that right? Bounce to the rhythm if you know you gotta flow. Synchronize the steps if you wanna get low. Isn't it nice when the people go away? Only you and me and the rest they go astray. Say it to me so my body goes slow. Goosebumps on my face when you know you got a hold on me. Hold on me. Bounce to the rhythm, shimmer the eye. Never really know. Bounce to the rhythm, shimmer the eye.
LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it does not matter on who the host is to this damn thing. That is for sure. Anyways, today is Friday, July the 14th of 2023, day 195th of the year, and only 170 days left to go. So there you go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place.
Radio in USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes. A lot of stuff going on right there. Anyways, Freeform Friday, also episode 799th today. Yeah, 799. Holy hell, who would have thought this? That is for sure. So $7.99. So, well, where has the good times gone? Think about that. So, yep, there you go. $7.99. That means next episode will be the miracle of 800. So there you go. Anyway, so a lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse, so we'll talk about some of that stuff today for sure. On Freeform Friday, it kind of goes something like this. We talk a little bit more nonsense than what we normally do throughout the week, because why would we not do that? So we play catch up with everything that we did not get to previously. And then we, do hooks and ladders. Yep. Or is it shoots and ladders? Who the hell knows? So there you go. Anyways, interaction with the show, callinradio.com, best way to do so. If you go to the social media platforms, well, you can do that, but the problem that you're going to run into there is that not much happens in regards to looky. It doesn't normally happen until the end of the show is normally how it goes about. So there you go about that. And so that will give you some options on taking a look at some other things. Anyways, with that being said, let's talk about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news by starting off about what the hell is trending.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, Russia and Belarus have been barred from formally participating in next Summer Olympics, but many of their athletes will likely still complete. We'll talk about that here in a bit. Shakira is, or maybe, dating a new man. Recluse Richard Simmons is happy that he has turned 75. Tom Cruise is still hoping that the film a movie in space, and Stranger Things Haunted Attraction is set to open at Universal Studios. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about some of the nonsense of the things that we get into. So that's kind of how it goes. Freeform Friday. So where the hell are we going to go? Who the hell knows? That's the fun part as we are doing our gig'em. So there you go. So let's see. Who do we have sitting over there? Oh, okay. So let's do it this way. Mark Mayfield sitting in this morning. So Mark is over there waiting to tell us about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the news. So let's do that.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. 3 Black and Latino groups say Harvard's consideration of legacies and donors in the admissions process violates the Civil Rights Act. A complaint filed Monday with the U.S. Department of Education Office for Civil Rights argues that giving preference to legacies and donors admits predominantly white students while excluding non-white applicants. The complaint comes just days after the Supreme Court ruled that using race when determining admissions is unconstitutional, effectively ending affirmative action. Israel reportedly attacked an alleged terrorist base in the West Bank and killed at least 8 Palestinians. Brian Shook reports.
Israel says the attack dealt a big blow to terrorist organizations. Egypt's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said Israel used excessive and indiscriminate use of force. Jordan, Iran, and Turkey also spoke out, calling to end the aggression. I'm Brian Shook.
2 PGA Tour officials will testify before a congressional committee next week on the organization's merger with Saudi-backed Live Golf. Lisa Taylor fills us in.
PGA Tour COO Ron Rice and board member Jimmy Dunn are set to testify July 11th before the Senate Homeland Security Committee's Subcommittee on Investigations. Officials with Live Golf, which is bankrolled by the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, declined to appear. Lawmakers are concerned about the Saudi government's role in the deal. I'm Lisa Taylor.
At least 4 people are dead and others are injured after a mass shooting in Philadelphia. Police confirmed Monday that 6 people were struck by gunfire in the attack carried out at multiple locations. The suspected gunman is in custody and was described as a man with an AR-style rifle, a handgun, multiple magazines, body armor, and a police scanner. A second suspect who may have returned fire was also in custody. The 2 injured victims are both minors. And Robert De Niro says he's deeply distressed by the sudden death of his 19-year-old grandson. His daughter, Drina De Niro, said her son, Leandro, was found dead inside a lower Manhattan apartment early Monday morning. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
You are listening to a renowned safety expert, Dr. Jay Allen, on Safety FM. Changing safety cultures, one broadcast and one podcast at a time. Join the fun on social media and find us on Facebook at Safety FM.
After former President Trump visited South Carolina over the weekend, we learned that another political heavy hitter is coming to the Palmetto State. Scott Kimbler reports.
President Biden will pay South Carolina a visit this week. The White House announcing Biden will come to South Carolina Thursday. A location or a reason for the visit, not yet announced. Biden's visit will come less than a week after First Lady Dr. Jill Biden spoke at the graduation ceremony at the U.S. Marine Corps Recruit Depot, Parris Island, on Friday. The state has seen a number of presidential candidates visit as the 2024 race heats up. President Trump drew a large crowd of thousands at a rally held in Pickens Saturday. I'm Scott Kimbler.
The U.S. is recommending Americans reconsider traveling to China. The State Department, in an updated advisory, said there's a risk of wrongful detention and U.S. citizens could be detained without access to U.S. consular services or information about their alleged crime. Americans are also warned against using drugs in or prior to arriving in China and against participating in demonstrations or protests. The advisory comes amid rising tensions between Washington and Beijing. This year's 4th of July cookout will be more affordable than last year's. Trey Thomas fills us in.
According to the American Farm Bureau Federation, families can expect to pay less than $68 for a party of 10. That's down 3% from last year's record high of $69.68. The estimate includes 12 staple items, including hamburger buns, potato salad, chicken breast, lemonade, and chocolate chip cookies. I'm Trey Thomas.
And travel issues are piling up for Americans during the long 4th of July weekend. FlightAware reports more than 4,600 flights within, into, or out of the United States were delayed on Monday. Meantime, roughly 140 flights were canceled. A record amount of people are expected to travel during this period. The disruptions come as severe weather is also battering parts of the U.S. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves only on Safety FM. Let's
Start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello.
Have hydrogen sulfide at work? Many industries have exposure to H2S gas. H2S gas can be deadly within a few breaths. In concentrations at or above 100 part per million. Effective H2S training of workers can save lives. You can be that trainer. Certified Master H2S Trainer, Stan Smiley, is holding an online 3-day instructor development course. Learn to teach the ANSI Z 390.1 standard. After completion of the course, you'll be authorized to be a hydrogen sulfide safety awareness trainer. Sign up for the International H2S IDC online course today. Visit primus.training.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, there you go. 13 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out doing the things that we get to do, so no doubt about that. So let's get into it and talk a little bit about some things that are going on in this world. Another crypto company head honcho has been charged with fraud. This time it's 57-year-old Alex Mashinsky, who founded the hemmed and CEO of Celsius Network, which functions as the lender of cryptocurrencies. Celsius filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy almost exactly a year ago. Under Chapter 11, the company has the ability to reorganize debt without completely going under. Now, Malinsky says, or has at least been accused of misleading customers and, reminiscent of the FTX saga, artificial inflation of its own crypto token. Malinsky is out about $40 million bond secured by his home and in New York City. So there you go. I still have a hard time with this. And listen, I know some people are going to be like, why are you talking about it, blah, blah, blah. But listen, crypto, this is the jumping into something that you fully don't understand and investing into it. I mean, don't you want to know where your investment is going? Isn't that part of the gig of the things that you decide to do? I mean, I'm just saying, just asking the question of what the hell exactly is going on. So there you go. Anyways, the International Olympic Committee announced Thursday it will not invite Russia or Belarus to formally participate in next summer's games in Paris. Athletes from the countries will still likely participate in many cases, though they will be formally unaffiliated. The Ukrainian government has demanded a more hardline stance, insisting that no athlete from Russia or Belarus compete. Since Russia began its invasion of Ukraine and has selectively barred from athletes from participating in certain international events to qualify for the Olympics, though there has not been a clear rationale on the decision. This is via IOC. So what do you think about this? I mean, it kind of makes it kind of interesting on what would be the reasoning behind it. I mean, wouldn't you want to know just a tidbit more on what exactly the thought process is? I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask. Anyways, two men with a history, yes, I did say history this week, after wrangling in a 19-foot, 125-pound python in the Florida Big Cypress National Preserve, taking the snake into the Conservancy of the Southwest Florida to be officially measured and weighed. The python team there concluded that the longest Burmese python on record. The previous record was set in 2020 with the Burmese python measuring 18 feet 19 inches. 18 feet 9 inches, also from South Florida. By the way, the annual Florida Python Challenge, when everyday Floridians get the chance to hunt an invasive snake, runs from August the 4th through the 13th. This is according to USA Today. Listen, I live here in Florida. I hear stuff like that. I have no interest whatsoever in doing anything along those lines.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the CEO of an e-commerce company based on Bangalore has replaced the entire customer support team with an AI-powered chat box to monumental success so far. Not only did the chat box respond to questions nearly instantly, the program delivered successful results much quicker, from a medium of over 2 hours to 3 minutes and 12 seconds. The new program has cut customer support costs by 85%. This is via Summitash Hash. Yeah, so there you go. What do you think there? So are you going to see more and more of this AI bot stuff taking over? I'm just asking the question because I think it's going to be pretty interesting in regards to this. Like, you won't need a talking head like me doing this thing, because you could just get an AI bot that can do my voice. Think about it. I'll tell you this. Years ago at this point, I was requested to drop several hours into a bot system that would be able to duplicate my voice. And there's an episode of the Rated R Safety Show that's all done by the bot. Now, seriously, and we talked about it during that, back in those days. Anyway, surfers are taking to the water off the coast of Santa Cruz, California, after being warned about the aggressive sea otter. According to the Los Angeles Times, the female otter started attacking surfers and trying to steal their surfboards in June. The mammal, known as the wildlife officials as Otter 841, was born in captivity at Monterey Bay Aquarium. Before she was weaned and released into the wild, she was tagged so that she could be monitored, though it is unlikely officials thought that they would use the tracking for something like this. Now, officials with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife, the CDFW, are hoping to catch the otter and bring it back to Monterey Bay Aquarium for a vet check. So just to see everything that's going on. From there, the aquarium says that it will find her more permanent home away from the surfers. This is according to People. Yeah, like the magazine, not like people as in just people talking. So something to think about for sure. Anyways, with that being said, it is 19 minutes past the top of the hour on this Freeform Friday. Let's bring some John Smalls in. Let him tell us about what the hell's going on with the market.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, July 14th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets rallied Thursday after another cooler-than-expected inflation report. The PPI came in below expectations and fueled hopes that inflation would soon be a thing of the past. The caveat for traders and investors is that inflation remains hot at the consumer level, and the FOMC is on track to hike rates by at least 25 basis points. The full impact of the hikes done over the past year is still not fully felt. The impact of another could tip the economy into a recession. The S&P 500 gained nearly a full percent for the session to set a new high. The index is trading at its highest level in over a year and is set to tackle even higher levels. The next hurdle is 4660. A new all-time high is likely if the market can move above there. The question is where the index ends this year. The expectation is for a year of flat returns. With the index showing gains for the year and moving higher, the outlook implies a correction is coming. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the información. Here's what I was able to find. The Dow added about 47 points to close at 34,395 on Thursday. The S&P added about 37 points to close at 4,510, and the Nasdaq added about 219 points to close at 14,138. West Texas Intermediate closed at $77 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $81 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was at $3.55 on Thursday, and Bitcoin surged nearly 4.5% Thursday, just trading at right over $31,700. There was more than 3,010 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Thursday, and more than 130 such cancellations. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $560 million jackpot or a $281.1 million cash payout. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $875 million jackpot or a $441.9 million cash payout. So, if you want to play the game, you have the opportunity to do so. So take a listen to this. Lisa Marie Presley's cause of death has been revealed according to the Los Angeles Medical Examiner. She died from complications of a small bowel obstruction. Lisa Marie passed away in January at the age of 54. Toxicology reports have not yet made this public, so just so you know. Interesting stuff. A lot of stuff going on right there in that particular regards. Anyways, let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the news. So take a listen to this. Later this year, there will be more ways to escape the cold if you're in Iowa.
Starting November 11th, American Airlines will fly from Cedar Rapids to Miami every Saturday. The service will run until March 30th. This comes in addition to Allegiant offering flights to Fort Lauderdale from the Eastern Iowa Airport, also starting in November. I'm Andrew Haupt.
So if you wanted to run away from the cold, just don't move there in the first place. Maybe that's one way to take a look at it. Anyways, take a listen to this. Iowa State University, $301 million in yearly research funding is a new record. The school says the money is the fiscal year, which just ended, supported a broad range of research across a number of different fields.
Problems that confront us, confront society, are not just an engineering solution or a physics solution or a psychology solution. They're a solution that involves viewpoints from all different facets.
The Iowa State Vice President for Research, Peter Dorhout, Peter Dorhout, he says that more than 2/3 of research funding came from the federal government agencies like the National Science Foundation, USDA, and the National Institute of Health. The school says there's a lot of competition for the $301 million raised at the last fiscal year.
For every 10 proposals that I write as a faculty member, one might be successful. Faculty spend a lot of time telling their story, describing the research that they're doing and the impact that it's going to have. And it's so competitive.
Proposal writing sounds like a sucky-ass job. I mean, I am just saying.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. Anyways, a Kent County judge in Michigan is holding firm on the decades-long prison sentence for the 2016 murder in Grand Rapids. Judge Mark Trusock resentenced Ramon Logan yesterday to more than 31 years to 100 years behind bars from the second-degree murder, plus mandatory 2 years for weapons conviction.
You shot him 8 times, and there is no excuse or justification for that under any circumstances.
Tressock presided over Logan's trial and in 2018 sentenced him to a minimum of 38 years in prison and a maximum of 100. Logan was granted a resentencing after the Michigan Court of Appeals ruled that Tressock did not fully explain the reason for the sentence exceeded the state's recommended guidelines. Jacqueline McCain of the State Appellate Defender's Office was seeking the maximum sentence of 60 years for her client. Tressock acknowledged that an expert testimony about juveniles' ability to make reasoned decisions, but he could not get over the Logan's apparent lack of remorse after the killing, saying that witnesses testified that he bragged about what he seemed proud of. Ramon Logan says that he has taken steps in prison to change his ways. This is what he said on Thursday.
This is not how I want to live my life. I want to be the good person I know that I am and change the cycle of incarceration in my family.
So there you go. I'm kind of confused here. So 38 years to 100 years, the maximum sentence being 60. So they're looking for a potential of him getting out later down the road is what it sounds like. Just throwing that out there. So what do you think? A lot of interesting stuff coming out there. Don't know what to say on that one. Take a listen to this. Baltimore City Council Public Safety Committee questioned police and other city agencies about the deadly July the 2nd shooting in the Brooklyn Homes community. Acting Police Commissioner Richard Woolley told the committee that there was a communication and intelligence breakdown.
We should have been actively working to find out when Brooklyn Day was. It was going to happen this year. It's happened 27 years in a row. We could have and should have done more.
Police were not aware of the gathering and responded after midnight when the shooting left 2 dead and 28 wounded. Woolley said the department is already making changes based on the mistakes and that they had made that night. He says that after the action report is being compiled and it should be completed in around 45 days. The mayor's office of the Neighborhood of Safety and Engagement, the housing authorities, and the Department of Transportation also answered questions during the hearing. Council members still have questions and there may be additional hearings about this. Council members wanted to know if the city agencies didn't know about the block party.
How did the residents know about this and advertise an event that could grow to 700 people, but nobody in city government know?
I just pulled up Brooklyn Day on my Instagram right now, and you're telling me that we have an entire unit associated with this, and they didn't pick that up?
Baltimore's NAACP president, Reverend Kobe Little, wondered where Mayor Brandon Scott was.
It's shameful that the mayor is not here this evening to speak to this issue, to speak to this council hearing.
I mean, it is kind of interesting when you start thinking about it. Like, all of a sudden, you have a block party that is expected about 700 people. All of a sudden, no one knows anything about this. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of confusing when you really start thinking about it in regards of what the hell is going on.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, take a listen to this. County Executive Johnny Oswalski joined the elected leaders in Woodland Thursday to sign the West Baltimore County Redevelopment Authority bill into law.
Creating this authority really will transform our capacity to invest in Western Baltimore County.
So the county council passed a measure earlier this month to establish a panel to work towards the redevelopment and revitalization of a 13 square mile area between the Liberty Road corridor and the U.S. Route 40. The effort is aimed to making it easier to acquire and redevelop property in the area, which includes Security Square Mall. This is coming out of Woodland, Maryland. So there you go. Some things might be coming your general direction. Take a listen to this. An excavation is underway in Oklahoma Cemetery in search of an unmarked grave from a Tulsa race massacre. Trey Thomas has more.
City officials scheduled a 2-day test excavation at Tulsa's Oaklawn Cemetery. Some of the bodies buried there are believed to be victims of the 1921 massacre, where white mobs burned down the prosperous neighborhood then known as Black Wall Street. killing an estimated 300 black people. I'm Trey Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Trey Thomas, for the information right there. Take a listen to this one. Film and television production is grinding to a halt in Hollywood. Trey Thomas has more.
The union representing 160,000 actors is going on strike, joining the Hollywood writers who've been on strike for nearly 2.5 months. This is the biggest entertainment shutdown in over 40 years, and industry experts say new TV series and movies will soon dry up in the coming months. I'm Trey Thomas.
So that definitely sounds like there's a lot of reruns coming into your life in regards of what is going on there for sure. So the Screen Actors Guild and the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists held a news conference Thursday at its Los Angeles headquarters to announce that the union has approved a strike against the Alliance of Motion Pictures and Television Producers, SAG-AFTRA. The lead negotiator, Duncan Carradbury, Ireland, says that the strike begins at midnight tonight.
Because the AMPTP remains unwilling to offer a fair deal on key issues essential to protecting the livelihoods of working actors and performers, SAG-AFTRA's national board unanimously voted to issue a strike order against the studios and streamers.
The Hollywood studios say that they have addressed all of the union's concerns and have offered generous solutions. The union wants compensation models restructured to accommodate the emerging technology, including streaming and the expectation of self-recorded auditions. SAG-AFTRA also wants protection against the unauthorized use of actors' likeness and voices by artificial intelligence. SAG-AFTRA lead negotiator Duncan Carradbury, Ireland, says the union negotiators did all they could to strike a deal with the Hollywood studios.
Despite our team's efforts, the AMPTP has remained steadfast in its commitment to devaluing the work of our members.
He also says the change in technology required drastic changes in the actors' contracts.
To complicate matters further, actors now face an existential threat to their livelihoods with the rise of generative AI technology. We've proposed contract changes that address these issues, but the AMPTP has been uninterested in our proposals.
Okay, so let's see. SAG-AFTRA President Fran Drescher, yes, Fran Drescher says this contract negotiation is existential.
What happens here is important because what's happening to us is happening across all fields of labor.
And listen to what else Drescher had to say as she lashed out to the studios.
We're not going to take this anymore. You people are crazy. What are you doing? Why are you doing this?
Fran Drescher says the industry and technology have left workers behind.
You cannot change the business model as much as it has changed and not expect the contract to change too.
She also issued a message to the Hollywood studios.
At some point, the jig is up. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history. That is a moment of truth.
Drescher also went as far as to express her frustration with the studios and her resolve to strike a fair deal for the actors.
What are we doing? Moving around furniture on the Titanic? It's crazy. So the jig is up, AMPTP. We stand tall. You have to wake up and smell the coffee. We are labor and we stand tall and we demand respect.
What an interesting scenario, huh? I mean, Fran Drescher, there you go. I haven't heard her in a long period of time, and she used to have that show on TV years ago. Boy, have things changed since then. But hey, listen, I like when people stand up for what they believe in. There's a reason you should do that. There is no doubt about it. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. I think I got some stuff for you that we need to talk about on this Freeform Friday. No doubt about this.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. The union representing 160,000 television and movie actors has voted to go on strike and join Hollywood writers on the picket line. US actors are seeking a bigger share of profits from streaming services as well as protections around the use of AI. Ira Spitzer reports from San Francisco.
The SAG-AFTRA union, which represents most television and film actors in the United States, voted to go on strike after negotiations with the group that represents the major studios broke down. The The two sides are at odds over a number of issues, including the royalty payments actors are entitled to from content that airs on streaming platforms and the potential future uses of artificial intelligence, such as cloning in actors' likeness or voice. The strike is expected to essentially shut down almost all TV and film projects in the country, which have already slowed considerably due to the writer's strike, which began in May.
Teaching unions say they'll recommend a pay deal being offered by the government in England, which could end long-running industrial action. The government's offering a 6.5% pay rise, which is below current levels of inflation. Parts of India, including New Delhi, are seeing extensive flooding after incessant rains. Water levels have receded slightly in India's capital, but the Yamuna River is still flowing above what authorities call the danger mark. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
From the iconic high walls of the Delhi's Red Fort to the steps of the country's highest court, the water of the river Yamuna has gradually creeped up inside the city. It's causing intense waterlogging in residential areas close to the riverbanks, causing people to wade through waist-deep waters to get place to place. The Delhi government has rescued close to 23,000 people from low-lying areas, and officials say more could be moved soon. Those not able to make to relief shelters are seeking refuge under bridges and elevated roads. Schools and colleges in flood-prone areas have been shut down. Authorities say the water should start receding soon, but it's likely to remain over that danger mark over the next couple of days. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
China and the US are both lauding efforts to cool tensions between the two countries after the latest meeting between top diplomats on the sidelines of ASEAN meetings in Indonesia. The two countries have been attending a gathering of the region's foreign ministers along with Russia and others. Patrick Fock reports from Singapore.
The face-to-face between US Secretary of State Antony Blinken and China's foreign policy chief Wang Yi in Jakarta was the second in the space of about a month. Officials say the pair picked up where they left off previously in Beijing and discussed concrete action on differences between the two sides. Separately, Wang also met with Russia's foreign minister in Indonesia. Sergei Lavrov said Moscow and Beijing would work to strengthen ASEAN-centric mechanisms.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, more on the extraordinary decision by actors in Hollywood to walk off the job. Members of the SAG-AFTRA union are now on strike, joining Hollywood writers in their work stoppage. It's the first time both unions have been on strike since 1960, when Ronald Reagan, himself a Hollywood actor, led the Actors Union. Entertainment correspondent Sean Mandel is in Hollywood.
The press conference that we got today had very impassioned statements from SAG-AFTRA current president, Fran Drescher, who some of your listeners may remember playing her iconic character, the nanny, in the 90s. She was emotional, blamed the studios and CEOs, Wall Street, for greed and treating the union with disrespect, saying that she came to the negotiating table optimistic, but that the fundamental business model that Hollywood now exists in, which is focused on the streaming world, has not impacted the way that actors are paid and compensated. So they're essentially, actors are operating under a broadcast television model for how they're compensated based in the 90s, whereas the entire industry has switched over to a new way of operating.
160,000 union members are expected to join the strike, and for entertainment conglomerates, production on scores of TV and film sets is now grinding to a halt. I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, the union representing 160,000 television and movie actors in the US has voted to go on strike. Teaching unions say they will recommend a pay deal being offered by the government in England, which could end long-running industrial action. Parts of India are seeing extensive flooding after incessant rains, and China and the US are both lauding efforts to cool tensions between the two countries following the latest meeting between top diplomats. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. BIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. BIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with BIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take BIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN. Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, The Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
We're rocking all day at work because we don't give a duck. Autocorrect probably just saved my ass there. Like I give a flying, you know.
Bounce to the rhythm if you know you gotta go. Take a step away and give me a show. Why the fuck you care about people over there? You got what you need, so you better be prepared. Look into my eyes, so my body goes so. Goosebumps on my face when you know you got a hold on me. Hold on me. Bounce to the rhythm, bounce to the rhythm.
Okay, here we go. 43 minutes past the top of the hour. This still is the Rated R Safety Show. Hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. Yes, there is 3 hours to this, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. This right here, this is Face by Nam. You can give it a little downloady-ody action if you so desire to do so. YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify. We would like to thank Nam for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So, there you go. Yeah, we always like all kinds of different music around here. There is no doubt about that aspect, as we are hanging out and doing everything that we do on this Free Form Friday. So, there you go. Anyways, let me tell you real quick about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. That's TWLOHA.com. Listen. Regardless of what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section at the very far right-hand side that says Find Help. TWLOHA.com. Listen, all kinds of information that you can find right there on that particular website. They are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on the hotlines. And listen, when they're starting to tell you about how you're not alone, they have listings for the Crisis Text Line, the Crisis Text Line UK, the one for the US, the one for Ireland, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, Trans Lifeline, and the Trevor Project. That's just to name a few that are listed on the website. TWLOHA.com. This might be some of the most important information that we'll ever discuss on this show. There is no doubt about that. Let's talk real quick about some movie openings this week because, hey, I don't know what you have going on, so let's talk about it. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, it kind of opened on Wednesday, but we can still talk about it. Ethan Hunt and the IMF team must track down a terrifying new weapon that threats of humanity. So that's already out right now if you want to take a look at that. The Miracle Mile Club, that's just one dream for a woman to get a taste of freedom. So that's available now. And Theater Camp. Yeah, Theater Camp. Eccentric staff members of the upstate New York Theater Camp must band together when their beloved founder falls into a coma. That comes out today. So, don't know if you're planning on going to the movies. Those are the new movies coming out. I'm sure you can find out what the hell the box office did come Monday, because that's normally how it goes. So, let's talk Eat, Drink, and Be Chubby. Yeah, I said that. It's news that absolutely people want to hear, and if it isn't, you can go out for dinner with my crowd. Surprising that a new research says that, well, shall we say it, Strout doesn't mean that you're headed to an early grave. The Rutgers University study suggests that body mass index BMI may not increase mortality independently of the other risk and factors as adult. The finding comes after looking into a massive list of coverings of health info of over 500,000 Americans adults spanning over 2 decades. The researchers say that they have found that the cause of mortality risk may be similar across a wide range of BMI categories. They also pointed out that being overweight still may contribute to a number of medical conditions, none which are tight abs. Just ask me, just letting you know. I'm fully aware that the fact that people tend to become a little bit old, little old ladies and little old men as they age. I figured that big belly is simply the way of preventing that from happening too soon. There you go, something to think about. So here's the thing. If you think about it and you hung out earlier this week, you know that we spoke about this. But boy, does that make it kind of interesting in regards of some of the stuff that's going on for sure. Because we talked about it twice, and it's not that it's a bad thing that we talked about it twice, but how interesting is this, that this is something that people would put focus on of, hey, you know, you don't have to lose as much weight as you want. I think that, I mean, you have to look at it this way. As long as you're healthy and are happy and feel good, what does it matter? I mean, what does it matter? I mean, there's so many different things that people want to talk about that it gets kind of weird sometimes.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about Did You Know real quick. Choose wisely. The hot dog that you're looking forward to grilling up this weekend could shorten your healthy life by up to about 36 minutes. On the other hand, eating servings of cashew instead may extend it by 26 minutes, according to a study. University of Michigan researchers found that the substituting just 10% of your usual daily caloric intake from beef to processed meat with a mixture of fruits, vegetables, and nuts, legumes, and some seafood may extend your healthy life significantly and help prevent the help preserve the environment. When researchers talk about healthy living, they're referring to the ability to live life without having to deal with the fragility of sickness or disability. Trust me, anything cooked by me is going to shorten your life by 26 minutes. There is no doubt about that for sure. No, like seriously, I'm not joking as I say that.
It's the show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay. So there you go. Some stuff to think about, some stuff to talk about, that is for sure. Let's talk about some whack facts as it is 49 minutes past the top of the hour. A study found that dunking an Oreo in milk for 3 seconds gives it the optimal balance of sogginess and structural integrity. So there you go. 3 seconds sounds like the limit. Lego has an underground vault containing every set ever made. Like casino, shopping malls are intentionally designed to be to disorient visitors, just so you know. The first person convicted of speeding was back in 1896, was going 8 miles per hour. The wonderful new car smell is actually a combination of the scents of 50 plus chemicals. And goldfish can distinguish the music of one composer from another. And I would love to know the chat that they had to figure that out. No, seriously, I'm not joking as I say that. Like, how did they figure that out? Just saying. Anyways, let's do this real quick. Let's get into some Motivation Minute stuff because I think that's going to be important as we're about to get into the weekend of weekends. So here's some John Smalls.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Maya. C.S. Lewis said, "One of the most cowardly things ordinary people do is to shut their eyes to the facts." All right, think about how powerful that quote is. We recently watched the movie Sound of Freedom. It's based on the true story of a man by the name of Tim Ballard. He worked for a U.S. government agency for many years, helping to catch some pretty awful people who were trafficking children. Tim eventually quit his job to actually rescue the children rather than just arrest the bad guys, sadly leaving the victims in harm's way. His organization, Operation Underground Railroad, is amazing. If you're not aware of this group already, I do encourage you to learn more about them. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
A plastic surgeon in Central Ohio known as Dr. Roxy on TikTok is no longer allowed to practice medicine in the state. Dr. Jonathan Feeble, one of the 12-member Ohio Medical Board, had stern words after the board moved to permanently revoke the license of Dr. Catherine Graw.
Their lack of professionalism and poor judgment in delegating responsibilities to others.
The board launched hearings over Graw's credentials after 3 patients reported cosmetic surgeries that had gone terribly wrong. Dr. Graw was also questioned over patient privacy concerns after live streaming surgeries on social media. Norovirus cases are on the rise on cruise ships this summer. Infectious disease expert Dr. Aileen Marty is issuing a warning.
Unlike COVID, remember, which was very easy to clean off, it's much harder to clean off norovirus.
The best defense is to wash your hands, she says, a lot. Health Update, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Only a madman would try to plant in the dead of winter for harvest and seed time. The fruitfulness of his labors depends on his willingness to work within the seasons of nature. By the same token, we live self-defeating lives when we ignore the divinely ordained rhythm of work, rest, worship, and play. To truly become all God has called us to be, we must live in rhythm with Him. Ecclesiastes 3 says, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. Lord Jesus, teach us to balance our busyness with solitude, our work with rest. Let us walk away from time to time so we can return refreshed. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so there you go. 54 minutes past the top of the hour as we are talking. Anyways, let me give you some scoops of BS for today. Scientists say working for a bad boss will more than likely ruin your marriage, especially if your boss is Simon Cowell. Kylie Jenner just uploaded some scandalously clad bikini vids on TikTok. She wanted to take a break from posting her theories of particle acceleration. The ESPYs aired on Wednesday night, and isn't it amazing that even presenting off the baseball awards is more boring than presenting than any other award during the ceremony? The Rolling Stones performed in their first onstage gig in London Marquee Club on This Week in 1962, and now some 61 years later, they plan another tour. Keith Richards marked the occasion by somehow being alive for one more day. And Thursday was National Friday, which means, of course, that today is National Pimple Day. So keep those things in mind as we are talking. Anyways, let's look at some things that happened back on this date. If I take a look around real quick, if I take a look at 2021, the CDC reports that drug overdose deaths rose by 30% in the U.S. to a record 93,000 in 2020. Experts says that the lockdown and other pandemic restriction isolated those with addictions and made the treatment harder to get. The organization also noted that overdoses increases in all but 2 states, New Hampshire and South Dakota. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today, because people are going to think that that's important. Conor McGregor turns 35. Dan Reynolds from the Imagine Dragons, 36. Sarah Canning, 36. Dan Smith, 37. Peter McGrutter, 37. Phoebe Waller-Bridge, 38. Scott Porter, he turns 44 today. Lonnie Love, 52. Matthew Fox turns 57. Jane Lynch turns 63. So there you go. That's some birthdays for you. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you as well. It's National French Fry Day, Bastille Day, World Kebab Day, Shark Awareness Day, Pandemonium Day, National Mac and Cheese Day, National Grand Marrier Day, and National Nude Day. Don't do that one at work. That could get a little interesting. Well, I guess it kind of depends on what kind of work you do, but just saying, probably not the one to celebrate at the job. Celebrate that one probably more like at home. So there you go. That's the days of that's the days of the year that you can celebrate today. That is for sure. Anyways, if you need a random joke for today, I have one of those. I haven't been this excited about a Friday since last Friday. If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Or, matter of fact, no, try this one as a phone starter. What's the weirdest thing about modern life that people just accept as normal? If you need something for the water cooler, try this. Over half of us do this at some point in the weekend. What is it? It's sweep. Yeah, sweep, out of all things. Anyways, let me tell you about this real quick. This is the Conklin Conference coming up September the 27th through the 29th. You can go to safetyfm.io for more information. This is occurring in Orlando, Florida. Todd Conklin, Jen Long, Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston, and Andrea Baker will all be participating at the Conklin Conference occurring in Orlando, Florida. To find out more information, safetyfm.io. Would love to see you there. There is no doubt about that. So there you go. Anyways, thank you for hanging out this week for me, and as we enjoy episode 799. So just so you know, because I want to give you a fair warning, we will be doing the best of next week. If you're on the radio station side of the house. If you are on the other side of the house, well, no video will be being played. So Radio Big and Safety FM will be doing the best of, because, hey, I'm going to be gone next week. It's that forced time. It's that time to take vacation with the family. So we'll be doing that. We'll be gone, but I will be back that following Monday for episode 800 for us to get together and do it all over again like we have never done it before. So there you go. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought, I would love to leave you with this one. Optimism is happiness magnet. And if you stay positive, good things and good people will be drawn to you. Think about that one. It might take you places that you never expected. That is for sure. Anyways, keep it strong. If you want to come and hang out with me, I'll be going over to Radio Big for the next couple hours. If not, you can stay on Safety FM and talk with Sheldon Primus about the world of safety consulting. No doubt about that. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.